Hi friends, this is Vijay here. Today I am going to remodel Butterfly Pavilion. The Butterfly Pavilion is designed by 3D Deluxe. So I just remodeled just for education purpose. Okay, let's jump into the tutorial. So first I am tracing the elevation image. So I am scaling the image by using measure tool. So first I click 2 points and just typing the actual value. So the image is scaled now. So now I am placing the plan also. So I am adjusting the levels. Here I used BZ toolbar, classic Bezier curve plugin. So I just tracing the outline of the building. So here I increase the segments by pressing simply number value plus yes. So yes is segments, so it will segment it more. Here I am adjusting the outside edges. So I am matching as per the plan. So now the outer edge is ready. So I'm speed upping this process. Now here I'm creating a separate line as a component. Here I'm using JHS Powerbar copy along the path plugin. So before that we need to weld all the line, and then I'm using JHS Powerbar copy along the path. Now the whole component is copied along the entire path. So now I'm going to adjust the lines according to the elevation. Now I'm exploding the entire line components. So I'm adjusting the height by simply clicking the edge as per the elevation. So I'm using parallel projection thing, and just clicking and editing the line heights as per the elevation. And speed upping this process. Now the outer profile is ready. I just making the surface. Here I am simply clicking all the lines and selecting curvy loft along the plot. So now the entire surface ready. So I'm tracing the similar way I'm tracing the other lines also. So here using symbol arc tool and tracing the edges. Now the other edge is ready. So here also I am doing the same process. So I'm hiding the LA one. So I'm just before that I'm just welding all the broken lines, and then here I'm creating the line as a separate component. I'm using copy along the path plugin JSS Powerbar. Here also first I am exploding all the lines, and then I am adjusting the height as per the reference elevation. So I exploded all the lines, and then I'm just decreasing the height by simply clicking the edges. So I'm speed upping this process. So I'm creating some additional lines also where the curve is forming to get the right surface. I'm copying the lines by simply clicking the move tool, and if you press Ctrl, then it will copy the line. Now the lines I place, I am using Loft along the pod plugin, so now the surface is ready. So now we got the bottom surface and the top surface also ready. Now I'm erasing both the faces, so we get both the curves clearly. So I'm exploding both the groups and then tilting the surfaces, so we can get a clear outer line which is running all around the area building. So I'm adjusting the curve a little bit. So I'm speed upping this process. Now we got the outer profile. So here I'm making two parts. We got the left hand side of the building which have 5 divisions, the right side are 10 divisions. So here now I'm putting the plan and checking the profile. I think it's almost okay. So I'm scaling a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to make the surface in this area. So I'm just joining the broken lines. So here we have total we need to make the surface. So the right hand side which have more division, left hand side have only half of the area division. So I'm just dividing these lines. So I'm just using welding tool, JHS Papa welding tool for both the top and bottom edges and sides also. So here only 5 divisions are doing. So I'm using BZ Papa polyline segmenter tool. So I'm dividing into 5, and the top also I'm dividing top and bottom has to be equal. Then we will get the right subdivisions, right quad faces. So top and bottom I'm making equal. I used Pavilion skinning tool to make the surface. So I am selecting all the 4 lines and using Pavilion skinning tool. So the surface is ready. So I am using the right side surface also. Here also I am going to divide into 4 parts because we are going to use the Flowify plugin. So Flowify plugin it's required 4 corner. So I'm just dividing the into 4 parts. So the right side whole curve I am welding, so it will be like a single line, single curve. So the bottom and top also I am building. So all the 4 edges has to be welded. Now I am using BZ power bar polyline segmenter to give all the segments equally, means top and bottom has to be equal, and left and right has to be equal. So here I have checked as per the image. So there are 15 segments are there. So here also I am using 15, and the left and right side total 10 segments are there. So based on how many segments is required, I can divide it. So here I am dividing into 10. Now I'm going to use Loft skinning tool. So I'm just clicking 4 edges, and I'm just simply clicking the Loft skinning tool. Now the surface is ready. So I'm going to create a pattern by I'm using Flowify plugin. So for Flowify plugin, we required to make first the projection plane and the target surface. The projection plane and the target surface and the projection lines. These 3 has to be separate groups, and then we need to create all 3 together as a separate group. Afterwards, we need to use Flowify impose grid. So we'll get all the quad faces into the projection plane. So now above the projection plane we can add that geometry, means the pattern. So here I am following the same pattern. Here I am making each quad faces, I am making separate components, so we can adjust easily. So I'm just making as per the image. So I'm speed upping this process. Here one pattern is ready, so I'm making as a component. So here I'm using array tool. First I'm mirroring this element. I'm using JHS Power Bar mirror tool. So I'm adjusting a little bit in the edges. So I'm using simply array tool. Array is just I'm copying this element in the next quad face. So by simply pressing number plus x value, so we'll multiply the component. Now same thing vertical also I'm doing. So I'm deleting the remaining edges. So I'm I'm exploding all the component and making a single group. So I'm taking one reference pedal, the pattern for the future other areas. So using simply Flowify plugin. So now our geometry is placed along the surface clearly. So now I'm making the framework also. I'm following the same process. I'm placing the components and in all along the grid. So here I'm making the changes in only one component, so it will update all the areas. So here I'm going to extrude the framework. So you can see the framework below the pedal. So I'm using AMS smooth tool to delete these unnecessary edges. So I'm using Flowify plugin again. So here I extruded this surface by joint push pull tool. So I'm placing this whole group below the projection plane, because our pedal I made above the projection plane. If it's below, so as per the picture it will come below, the whole Flowify will place below the pedal. So now it's done. So still little more correction, I'm just adjusting. Okay, I didn't did that properly, so I'm placing below the projection plane. I'm redoing this Flowify again. Yeah, it's done now. So it's below the pedal. So now I'm placing the actual surface. So similar way I'm going to do the other part also. Here I'm correcting the geometry. So here also the same process I'm doing. First I'm welding, then I'm dividing the line into polygon segmented, top and bottom has to be equal, and side and right has to be equal. So I'm using BZ polyline segmenter tool to segment the lines equally. So here I'm the right hand side and left side, I'm dividing the segment to 5 because it's changing in the image also. So I'm using simply skinning tool to create the surface. Now I'm adjusting the edge. Now I'm taking only the surface. This as a separate group. Now I'm creating the projection plane. So this is the projection line. So 3 projection plane has to be in the separate group. Projection lines also has to be in the separate group. So I'm scaling a little bit according to the height. It doesn't matter even it's big or small. It will plot the whole subdivision in the planar surface. So here I am making separate group for the projection lines. So these 3 groups I am making as a separate group. Again using flow, if I impose grid, so you can get the grid surface. So here I am just simply placing our geometry and adjusting the scale little bit. Now using Flowify plugin, so now geometry is placed along the surface. Okay, now I'm making the framework also in the same manner. So I'm just replacing the component into the framework, so it will come exactly in the same location. So here I am scaling a little bit the framework according to each pattern. So now I am using array plugin to fill the whole remaining surface. Now I'm deleting the remaining area. Now a little bit I need to adjust. It's projecting out. So I'm exactly placing above the surface plane. Here also I am extruding the frame, and the framework I have placed below the surface plane. So we'll get all the framework below the jali pattern. So I'm exploding all the components, making as a single group. So I'm just simply selecting the main group and then the geometry using Flowify plugin. Now the other surface is also ready. I'm placing in the actual location. This whole process taking a lot of time, so I'm just making 2 parts. So this is the first part. I'm making the remaining areas in the part 2, so please watch that also. And friends, if you're watching first time this channel, please do subscribe and like and share the video. And thank you. Thanks for watching. Soon we'll meet in the part 2. Thank you.